So although this is a very short trading week with only 3.5 trading days for this week, it's still a very data dependent week. However, before we go ahead and highlight some of the important data that we want to talk about for this week, I want to go ahead and just log into Twitter and show you guys something that after scrolling for a bit I saw a bit interesting. And that is this infographic here that I found, which it's always aesthetically pleasing to see data illustrated in a different format, and it just reminded me some of the great trades we've had. For example, we see over here, ExxonMobil killed it in 2022. And if we look into the chart, a lot of the trades I called out in the Push and Profit private group were ExxonMobil in 2022, specifically after we broke above this area where there's very little volume by price, where we see, the trend is upwards. And again, when there's very little volume by price, well, that means that, price action is going to spike up. And so it just was very nice to see this kind of format laid out, because, also made me look into Tesla. For example, when we take a look into Tesla, it's something very interesting to see when we take a look into the financials. For example, we see that in 2022, Tesla had $81 billion in revenue with over $20 billion in gross profits. Now, when we compare this to a legacy automaker like GM, it's very interesting because we see over $156 billion in total revenues, which is significantly higher than Tesla. Yet when you look at the gross profits, it's $20 billion, right? Very similar to Tesla. So this shows you in a basic, way, just highlighted over here, just how much more, the profit margins are for Tesla, where they're not even making the same amount of revenue as these legacy automakers, but they're coming in very close with the profit margins. And so when we think about the overall EV trend, we're seeing it grow year over year, with Tesla delivering much more vehicles every single quarter. And we're also seeing much more government intervention with the enforcement of EV, where we're seeing much more federal dollars pour into the EV space. And so this is, really good for Tesla, as it's positioned significantly much better than its competitors, right? Because of course, when we look at GM and Ford, I talked about it in previous videos that they're losing money going into the EV space, and they don't see themselves getting profitable until a few years later, while Tesla is already profitable because they already have the infrastructure built out to be profitable and take advantage of this EV wave. Now, real quick, I know you guys are probably thinking this is the first time I seen Justin in a t-shirt. Well, there's, the market's closed this week. There's no real estate transactions going on. So of course, this is just a day to, look at numbers and then eventually go into a barbecue and enjoy some hot dogs and burgers. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and highlight some of the data that we talked about earlier in this video that we absolutely have to pay attention to. Now, for the 5th of July, we're anticipating two significant events, which are the FOMC meeting minutes and of course a speech from the New York Fed President Williams. Now, the FOMC meeting minutes kind of serve as a lens to see a little bit deeper into the discussion of what the committee of the FOMC has really been talking about and what is their stance on monetary policy. And of course, the speech from Fed Williams is also very important to watch out for, because of course he is a voting member for the FOMC, and this also serves as kind of just further dialogue to see what is the stance for someone who is a voting member for the FOMC. So we're definitely going to want to pay attention to this data, because we want to see what are the possibilities of further hikes in the future in terms of the interest rates. And then of course on July 6th, we had the ADP Employment Report, the initial jobless claims, and then of course the job openings. Now these three pieces of data are going to be very pivotal to really understanding where we're currently at in the economy. Do we still have a robust job market? Are we still seeing job openings get cut? Are we seeing more people actually kind of apply for unemployment? So of course this is very important data. But then along with that, on July 7th for Friday, we have a stack of employment data with the U.S. foreign payroll, the unemployment rate, and then of course U.S. hourly wages, and then hourly wages year over year. So it's a very heavy data week, although it is a short trading week. And so with that said, we want to pay attention to what the Feds are thinking. What are they saying in terms of the job market? Because of course, we're at a weird scenario where, we do want a very strong job market. We want people employed. We want people people getting their paychecks, because of course, if more people are employed and they're getting their paychecks, well, they could go out and buy things like, Teslas, right? Which is obviously good for Tesla. But at the same time, we kind of know that the Federal Reserve and the FOMC committee is kind of, looking to suppress the job market just a bit in order to combat inflation. So of course, we want to not only hear what the FOMC is thinking and what they thought and what the Fed speaker is going to say, but we also want to go ahead and see what the job data is like, because if we see maybe job data kind of flat or maybe just suppress a bit, well, this could be very bullish for the market. Although I know it's kind of bad, you don't want people losing their jobs, but if it's sideways and there's just a small decline, well, this could be seen as something that's very positive for the Federal Reserve, where in terms where they may be thinking, hey, maybe we only need to hike one more time, right? And so that could be a very bullish signal for the overall market. But again, at the end of the day, we want to stay data driven and obviously data dependent, and watch out for what's going to happen overall in this entire week. Now, if we hear a lot of hawkish rhetoric from the FOMC meeting minutes, and of course the Fed speaker kind of being very hawkish, and then along with that job data showing that more people are getting employed, and that could obviously cause inflationary concerns, and we could see Tesla kind of either move sideways or dip down a little bit. And then of course we want to then again wait for the catalyst event of the fundamentals with the earnings for Tesla coming up, which is around June 19th. And so while I'm very bullish on Tesla going into 2024 and beyond, right, this week may present some challenges that may actually provide a buying opportunity. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel, then you guys know that I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines for a while now, just saying, when can I buy more shares of Tesla? Because Tesla just keeps going up. And so this week, right, may actually be the week to go ahead and buy some shares for Tesla if you're a long-term investor. Again, you should only trade and invest in whatever you see value in, and never just follow what anyone says, including myself. But this may be the week where I could finally just add some more shares into my Tesla portfolio, or again, my long-term portfolio. But also, looking at Tesla from the short term, I still, like I said in so many videos in the past, I still don't plan on shorting Tesla, simply because there's much more catalyst events that seem more bullish for Tesla than negative. And of course, Tesla is one of those mega cap stocks that is shorted the most. So we don't want to really, or I don't want to really short Tesla in the short term, even if things can go down a bit, right? To me, the risk is not worth it. But with that being said, guys, I just wanted to make this quick video to kind of inform you guys what is coming out this week. So hopefully this video did provide some utility. If it did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And before you guys go, make sure to watch this video right over here. It's an older video I did, but I talk about using margin in regards to trading. So definitely watch out for that video. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys on that video. Take care.